beautiful Jay here. Today I'm coming to you guys with another nursing school video. This video is going to be strictly on how I passed pharmacology. A little bit of backstory: I had to take pharmacology 2 times. I'm not happy about it, but I feel as though, you know, we have to learn from our mistakes and pick ourselves up to keep it going. The reason I didn't do so well in pharmacology was because I didn't really know how to go in and tackle this class. So the second time around, I was able to learn my learning style and just basically learn what was best for me in order for me to pass the class. In pharmacology, for the whole semester, I basically averaged like an 88% my second time taking the class, and then towards the end I kind of got a little lazy and slacked off, and so I finished the class with an 84%. And I wanted to tell you guys how I did it, because pharmacology can be one of those classes that are really hard in nursing school for several different reasons, and one of the reasons is because you don't know how to study for the class. I'm going to share with you what I learned or what I did to basically help me to be successful in pharmacology. The first thing that I would recommend is to kind of familiarize yourself with the material before you go to class. So kind of read over the chapters that you will be discussing in class that week, so that way when you go inside the classroom you have some type of idea of what your teacher is going to be talking about, so you aren't kind of blindfolded and don't know anything. It kind of helps you retain the information a little bit more. Another thing that I would highly recommend in pharmacology is recording your lectures. This will help you be able to listen to things that you may have missed while you were in class. So what I would do is like record the lectures, and while I'm in the car driving, running errands, or doing whatever, I was able to listen to the lecture. It just helped with the repetition of hearing my teacher's voice over and over again saying the same thing she stated in class that was important for us to know when it came to the test. So I feel as though recording your lecture would be very beneficial with helping with pharmacology. Another tip that I would say is, a lot of times people try to learn every drug, and realistically you're never going to learn every drug. Even once you become a nurse, you're still not going to know every drug because there's so many drugs out there. So the easiest thing that I found helpful for me to memorize or remember certain things about the drugs, because you have to know your signs and symptoms of the drug, common interactions with the drugs, and things of that sort. So what helps with remembering those things is not trying to remember the drug itself, but remembering the drug class, because once you know the drug class, you'll be able to know everything about that drug. So remembering the drug class will help you remember the drug itself. So for example, if you think about anticholinergics, we know anticholinergics, the class, you gonna have problems with can't see, can't pee, can't poop, and can't spit. So once you know those common things about that drug class, any drug that is an anticholinergic, you'll know off bat those are the common signs and symptoms of that drug, if that kind of makes sense. Focus on the drug class versus the drug itself. Another thing that I would recommend is utilizing Quizlet. I personally didn't make the Quizlets that I studied. A classmate, a friend of mine, she made all of the Quizlets because that was kind of her thing, and I utilized the Quizlets once it got closer towards the test time, so that way I could kind of like quiz myself in a sense to understand or see what I know about the material that I'm going to be tested on, and those things that I feel like I struggled in, I focused more on those things when it came closer to the test time itself. One of my favorite things that I love to do with every class now that I learned helped me out a lot is repetition, writing the content over and over and over and over again until it sticks in your brain. Like literally, I have a huge whiteboard and I have expo markers, and anyone that knows me in nursing school know I do not play by my expo markers. I really feel as though that helps me a lot. That may not help with you, work with you. Everyone's learning style is different. You have to learn your learning style. I just know my learning style is repetition. So writing it over and over and over again is what helped me get that information embedded in my brain. So when it came to tests, I was able to write down that information really quick, because our teachers allowed us a blank piece of paper before the test started to basically brain dump any information that we remember before we start the test. And I was able to brain dump all of that information that I basically remembered while I was studying. Pharmacology, I feel as though once I learned how to study for pharmacology, I learned that that class isn't as hard as people make it out to be, because pharmacology, unlike other nursing classes, is basically memorization based, versus other classes is going to be kind of like critical thinking, because pharmacology it's either this or and that's it. Like it's not really critical thinking when it comes to the drugs. It's like one of those things, like you either know it or you don't. So I feel like repetition and memorizing will really help you with pharmacology, and I feel like that's why I eventually learned to love that class, because it became easier for me because I learned how to study for the class. Another thing that I would recommend is practicing NCLEX style questions before the test, because you want to make sure you understand how to answer the questions when it comes to test time. You may know the information, but when it comes to the question itself, you want to make sure that you can really narrow down the answer when it comes to the test. I have questions in my book that help me, and then also, I don't know if you guys have ATI books, but I would recommend you getting them, because I don't know if your program requires you to do ATI testing. Some questions in the ATI book also help me as well. So you gotta kind of have like different practice questions that you can utilize to kind of get you ready for the test itself. So those are pretty much all of my tips and tricks when it comes to passing pharmacology. These are what helped me. I'm not saying it's going to help you, but this is just kind of like a start of getting you kind of ready to prepare yourself to study for the class itself. The main thing is focus on the drug class, not the drug itself, and you will be literally set in pharm. I hope these tips were helpful for you in order for you to pass your pharmacology exam. I wish you guys the best of luck in your class. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe before you leave out this video, and I will see you guys in my next video.